Step out of the vehicle now, or I'll pull you out myself. The voice comes through the driver's window before the flashlight does. Before any question. Before any badge. Just a command, and the hard certainty of a man who has never once considered he might be wrong. The car at Pump 7 of the Route 12 fuel station is a matte black Lamborghini. Georgia plates. Registration sticker current. Imani Sutton had pulled in 11 minutes ago. Filled the tank. And gone inside for a bottle of water. She came back out to 2 patrol cars angled across the lot. Light bars going. And Officer Hap Conley planted at her door. She is 17. Gray Georgia Tech hoodie faded across the chest. Dark jeans. White sneakers. Hair pulled back. Water bottle in one hand. Keys in the other. She has done nothing wrong. What she had done, before Pump 7, was everything in the right order. She had texted her location to a contact saved as 2 letters. EC. She had checked that the registration envelope was in the glove box. She always did when she borrowed the car. She had counted the station's 4 exterior cameras the same offhand way. She noted exit signs in crowded rooms, not paranoia. Procedure? A habit built across 17 years of being her father's daughter. Of absorbing one principle by repetition. Documentation is the only argument that survives contact with people who have more power than you. I said, step out. Imani sets the water bottle on the roof. Slow and deliberate. She puts both hands where they can be seen before she moves an inch. Then steps onto the concrete and holds her body completely still. The stillness of someone who has been told, more than once, by someone who loved her, exactly how to survive this. This, your car. Conley's flashlight sweeps the interior. Then her face. Where'd you get it? It's my father's car. Everett Sutton. The registration's in the glove box. I can reach for it if you'd like. Don't move. A second officer, Robin Stahl, is already scanning the passenger window with her own light. Scanning it like a car she has decided is stolen. We got a call. Suspicious vehicle. Black Lamborghini matching this plate. Possible connection to a theft ring out of Fulton County. Imani says nothing. She looks at a point past his left shoulder. Eyes level. Jaw set. ID's in my wallet. Left front pocket. May I get it? Slow. She retrieves it. A learner's permit. 7 months old. Photo matching. Name printed clear. Sutton. Imani Er. Conley takes it without looking and hands it to Stahl. Stahl opens the glove box. Pulls the envelope. Reads. For just a moment her expression recalibrates. Registered to Everett Sutton. Current. No flags. We're going to run this. Conley says. It's already registered. The sticker's current. The name matches my ID. Imani's voice doesn't rise. OCGA 40-2-7 requires the owner's name on state-issued documentation. It matches. There's nothing here to verify. Something about that. Not defensive. Not eager. Just accurate. Irritates him more than an argument would. You know that statute. The number's printed on the form. Bottom left. He walks to his cruiser. Runs the plate. Comes back heavier than he left. Comes back clean. I want to look in the trunk. Do you have a warrant? The question lands in the lot like something dropped from a height. I haven't consented. I haven't been arrested. A 40-second call about a matching car isn't exigent circumstance. So I'm asking, yes or no? His jaw tightens. His hand closes on her upper arm and turns her toward the car. Detained. Pending investigation. She goes with the pressure instead of against it. The zip tie bites down hard. A white edge of pain across the small bones of her wrist. She breathes through it. She makes one request. In the same level tone as everything else. I'd like to call my father. You'll get a call at the station. The Larkin County substation on Route 12 is not a precinct. It is a processing facility. 4 holding rooms. A booking desk. The smell of antiseptic and old paper. A black teenager in a gray hoodie. Zip-tied and calm. Is unusual enough that 2 officers look up when Conley brings her in. Theft suspect. Lamborghini. Plates came back clean. But circumstances are suspicious. At booking, Officer Pruitt asks her name. She gives it. Full name. Date of birth. Address. No inflection. He types it in. Reads what comes up. And something in his posture shifts. Not dramatically. Just a degree of stillness that wasn't there. He reads it again. Sutton. He says. And says nothing more. She is photographed. The zip tie is replaced with handcuffs. Wrists in front. A minor mercy. She is put in holding room 2 with a metal bench and no window. The clock above the door reads 8:47. Getting there takes 11 minutes. And they are not uneventful. In the corridor, a heavy-set officer looks her up and down and, on his way past, flicks 2 fingers against the hood of her sweatshirt. A gesture too petty to be anything but deliberate. She does not flinch. She locks his badge number, 2247, and the time, 9:04, into the same storage space as everything else. 40 minutes in, the door opens. Sergeant Cyrus Penn sits across from her with a folder he does not open. Imani, I want to help you sort this out. She says nothing. You told Officer Conley the car is your father's. What does your father do? He travels for work? Penn smiles with his mouth only. Here's my problem. Clean-plated Lamborghini. A 17-year-old, on a learner's permit. No adult we can reach. That permit alone is a violation. Operating without a licensed, supervising driver. He leans in. Combined with the report, it lets us hold you while we verify. You already have everything. OCGA 40-2-7 requires. She says. The ID. The registration. The plates. Something flickers behind his eyes. The look a chess player gets when a piece moves away he didn't account for. He leaves to get her water. What Imani does not see, Penn, at a restricted terminal, running Everett Sutton through a cross-reference system that pulls federal directories, the result comes back not as a warrant, not as a record, but a restricted access notation that reroutes any inquiry to a Pentagon extension. He stares at it for 11 seconds and closes the screen. What Imani does do is read the laminated notice bolted to the wall beside the door. The detention policy card nobody ever reads. Section 4. Any individual, under 18 held more than 2 hours without arraignment, must, under Georgia Code 15-11-42, be transferred to juvenile court or released to a guardian. Past that window, the detention becomes unlawful and everything gathered after is inadmissible. She arrived at 8:47. The clock runs out at 10:47. When Penn returns with Detective Royce Lamar, they try to reset the clock on the permit violation, citing a manual provision for serious traffic offenses. Imani reads the printout twice. That provision applies to offenses listed in Appendix C. A learner's permit supervision violation is in Appendix D. Different category. It doesn't apply. The room goes quiet. Lamar, who walked in smiling, is no longer smiling. Penn takes the paper back, checks Appendix C, checks Appendix D, and his shoulders do something small and involuntary. There is one more thing she remembers. Her phone. Lifted from the cup holder by Officer Stahl in the lot and dropped into an evidence bag with no entry on any log. 9:03. She saw it. She said nothing. She kept it. At 10:43, 4 minutes before the window closes, Pruitt opens the door and holds out her phone. Still bagged. Still unlogged. 17 missed calls. One number. Memorized. She calls it. It picks up on the first ring. The voice is not panicked. It is level. The way a voice gets, after 23 years of difficult rooms. Are you hurt? No. Sir. Good girl. I'm 22 minutes out. Don't say anything to anyone. I mean anyone. Her shoulders drop exactly 1 inch. She had not used his name once. General Elias Sutton arrives at 11:02. He is not large in the way that demands a room. White shirt. Sleeves rolled. No jacket against the October cold. Crossing the lot with the economy of a man who stopped performing for observers decades ago. My daughter's been in custody 2 hours and 14 minutes. He tells Sergeant Penn. His voice is not raised. It is a briefing. The window under Georgia Code 15-11-42 expired 27 minutes ago. I'd like her released before we talk about everything else. Penn looks at him for 1 full second. Then steps aside. Imani is already standing when the door opens. Her father crosses the room in 3 steps and puts a hand on the back of her head the way he has since she was small. He looks at her wrists. The zip tie marks still faint and red. And something behind his eyes contains itself for later. You're not hurt. It is not a question. He does not raise his voice in that building either. He requests. At the booking desk. Every document generated that night. And he waits the 19 minutes it takes to print them without checking his phone or pacing once. In the car, 2 miles down Route 12. Imani reports it flat. The station's 4 cameras. Time-stamped. Stahl lifting her phone at 9:03. Badge 2247. The hood. 9:04. You did everything right. Her father says. I was scared. I know. You did it right anyway. She had wanted to walk out because she was right. Not because of who he was. That distinction had always mattered to her. And she had. What follows does not happen loudly. Attorney Naomi Cole files an open records request. Incident report. Dispatch log. Evidence intake. Body camera. The body camera is the one they try to withhold, claiming an internal investigation that the department's own records confirm was never opened. A judge orders it released within 48 hours. The footage runs 44 minutes. And it is worse for them than the silence had been. At the 8-minute mark, after Stahl confirms the registration is clean, Conley says, "Run it again. Something's off." At the 19-minute mark, the zip tie goes on too tight. And policy says, a non-resisting subject's restraints are checked within 5 minutes. In 44 minutes, no one checks them. And at the 22-minute mark, Conley's lapel mic catches him on a personal call from the cruiser. "Run the father's name. There's something off about this." At 8:53, before booking, before any terminal search, that call is the part that cannot be explained away. They had a clean registration and clean plates in hand. There was nothing left to check about the car. So Conley did not call to run the car. He called to run the girl. To find out whose daughter she was before he decided what she was allowed to be. The suspicion was never about a stolen Lamborghini. It was about who he had already decided did not belong behind the wheel of one. The dispatch log finishes it. The call that started everything was 41 seconds. Anonymous. Classified low priority. No basis stated. Conley's report called it a vehicle reported in connection with an organized theft ring. Those are not the same sentence. Then the records pull the pattern into the light. Of 19 high-value vehicle stops in the county, over 3 years, 16 involved black drivers. One of those 16 was Marcus Greer. Pulled over 2 years earlier on a tip as thin as Imani's. Held 4 hours. Released without charge. His complaint stamped, unsubstantiated, and buried. When Cole's office called to tell him his case was reopening, Greer was quiet a long moment. Then said only, "I started to think I'd imagined it." He had not. His complaint reopens beside hers. And he is not the last. The reckoning comes through process. Not a gavel slam. At the post-disciplinary hearing, Conley sits with his hands flat on the table while the body camera plays his own voice back to him. "Run it again. Something's off." And he cannot make himself look at the screen. And the effort of not looking is its own confession. For the false report and the unchecked restraint, he is suspended without pay, pending counsel review. Stahl, for the unlogged evidence, is reprimanded and retrained. Penn, who chose to testify straight, is formally counseled. Cole files the federal complaint under Section 1983. Conley, Stahl, and Larkin County named the 16 of 19 statistic anchoring the claim against the county itself, and Detective Royce Lamar, who had sat in a parking garage with a folder of redacted emails suggesting the order to run the father came from above a shift sergeant, makes his choice. He hands the folder to Cole. The chain does not stop at Conley. Weeks later, Imani sits in AP chemistry and finishes a titration with the same level focus she brought to everything. The zip tie marks have faded. The next morning, out of habit, she checks that the registration envelope is back in the glove box. Because documentation is the only argument that survives contact with people who have more power than you. She had always known that. She had just proven it. If you believe the law should protect the people, it stops. Not punish them for knowing it. Like this video. Subscribe for more stories of quiet justice and accountability. And tell us in the comments what you'd have done at Pump 7. This is a fictional story created for storytelling purposes.